What were the biggest challenges you faced when you got back to real life?
I think my first 3, 4, 5 treatment centers, my family hadn't not done any work on themselves. So I'm coming back, all these new ideas and how I want to talk to people and how, I'm not letting people, holding other people responsible for my emotions. And I'm speaking to them in this language and they just don't get it. And then I start doubting myself. Like, I've done all this work and it's not working. Like, no one's responding in the way that, I think they're going to respond, because they literally didn't know how. So a big difference this time is my mom is doing Al-Anon. So she's developed a language herself. She's going through the steps. She has a sponsor. So when I talk to her about these things, she gets it right away. There's no need for a prolonged explanation. So
Davis, what were the hardest things for you when you got back into the real world?
For me, I think it was the accountability piece no longer being there. Like, if I'm having a bad day, there's not anyone to check in with me. It's on me to reach out and be transparent with where I'm at. So I had to learn to advocate for myself and voice hey, I'm struggling today.
For me, definitely figuring out life skills in adulting, which were non-existent in active alcoholism and active addiction. Luckily, the way that I entered figuring that stuff out was with a lot of just kind of drops, slow drops into my own autonomy. Of when I first left inpatient, I had an IOP, a sober living therapist, a sober coach.
What do parents need to know about these outpatient treatment programs, the IOPs? What should they keep in mind?
So I'm a case manager at a sober living, actually.
Love that.
And I think it's crucial for parents to know that this is where your kid's going to learn how to function in the real world before stepping completely back into the real world. I know for me, when I went to sober living, I learned how to work a job and make money and make a budget and, be productive, and live just without substances, in general. That was huge for me. Because I've gone in the past from a residential inpatient to completely back to normal life. And it's I'm shell shocked. I don't know how to function. So continuing with that support and that community that you've built in inpatient is so fundamental.
What advice would you give your parents about drug testing, urine screening, their kids when they come home?
That's why I'm a huge proponent of sober living, because that's kind of built into the model, the accountability. But if that doesn't happen, I think that the accountability that the drug testing or the breathalyzing brings is super crucial. I know that, with doctors and lawyers, when they are going through treatment to get their license back and all that, they have 5 years of accountability and their success rate is 85, 90%. And so low for everyone else because the accountability falls off so quickly.
When you say 5 years of accountability, that means 5 years of regular drug screening.
Right. They know if they mess up, someone's going to know about it. Whereas for a lot of other groups of people, that's just not the case. You get out of sober living at 7 months and there's just nothing. So this time I did something, a Soberlink breathalyzer. So I would blow into it every morning and night and would report to my therapist. And so that way someone would know if something happened.
I think it's a great idea. I think, it's the best way to really know that your child is staying, on the right path. And I think it's crucial to kind of what Zach said, people are going to know about it if you're, messing up.
There's different ways to frame it. It's not the parent doesn't trust the child, I'm going to drug test you. It's the child, I can show my parents that I'm on the right track. If they think I'm acting sketchy, well, here you go. I'm not on anything. I'm just, having an off day or, having something else going on.
I'm glad you brought up the issue of trust, because I'm wondering how many parents might be worried that they're going to break their kids' trust if they say, could you please take this drug screen for me?
Yeah. And that'd be the only thing I'd add on to what's been said around drug testing once returning home is if you have the means or the resources, I would definitely utilize a lab or a company that just does drug testing and breathalyzing, and take that responsibility out of the parents' hands, because you should be a parent and not a parole officer or a therapist or a case manager. You're a parent. And so it's never really helpful to have that accountability be entirely in your hands.
What do you want parents to know about 12 steps and sponsors and the importance of that group support.
Yeah. That is the piece of support that is always going to be there, regardless of your loved one's means or your means. It's going to be available to you and your loved one, regardless of where you're at on the face of this earth. And there's a 12-step program for everything and everyone. It doesn't matter if it's gambling or alcohol or heroin. There's a 12-step program for it. And that's where those like relationships that we talked about earlier really develop and kind of last for a long time.
It provides peace of mind to the parent. Like the parent can know if the child is going to meetings and has a sponsor and has the sober community, that like the chances of them falling off are a lot lower because they have all the support. And it's not something for the parent to manage. I know when I first got sober, my mom was always checking in, like, what step are you on? How many meetings are you going to, kind of thing. It's like, again, trusting that the program and the people that your loved one is connected with are helping carry them through it.
How important is it for parents to actually hold their kids accountable?
I think it's important because to some extent it keeps them on the right path. Like, you know, I'm moving back in, or I'm back with my parents, and they have these accountability measures in place, and they're there for a reason. As long as they're not viewed as like overbearing, they're there for safety. They're there to keep, you know, your loved one on the right path.